Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's edition of Referral Exchange Networking's Business Success Fertilizer Application. It isn't always easy to compete with the companies that are bigger than you and have greater resources. However, one advantage you can have is you can be smarter than they are. No one can tell you how much you can learn and how much of an asset you can be to your clients and your customers. That's why education is critical for small businesses, and that's why we at Referral Exchange strive to make you just a little bit smarter every week. So let's get right to it. I was listening to a podcast by Jennifer Furlong, Communication 24/7, where she discussed active listening. She began with a quote from the late Larry King, American television and radio personality who hosted over 50,000 interviews during his career. Mr. King said, "Every day I remind myself that nothing I say today will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening." Now, I think we can shorten this to nothing I say today will teach me anything. That should be our mantra going into every meeting, every telephone call, every Zoom, basically every conversation. Think about how every interaction would change if you began with that mantra and no longer with the attitude of, what can I say that will impress them or make me look smart? When we worry about that, we immediately put ourselves in the wrong frame of mind. This leads to the trap of, what can I say next after they finish talking? Which is the exact inverse of listening. Every conversation you enter into with this mindset will be a failure, especially when it comes to information gathering, conveying empathy, or discerning somebody's motivation. Active listening, as defined by Wikipedia, is a technique of careful listening and observation of nonverbal clues with feedback in the form of accurate paraphrasing. In other words, as provided by Jennifer Furlong in her podcast, active listening is paying close attention to what we hear. But be careful, because what we hear may not be what is actually said or what is meant to be communicated. We absolutely need to hear the words that are being used, and we need to discern more from the conversation than just the definition of those words. We need to consider the context. For example, if a person speaking is emotional, whether they're happy, sad, or angry, the meaning of the words that they use could change. If a person is expressing a minor issue versus a major problem, words like difficult or inconvenient may mean different things, but to you, they can denote something minor when in fact it's a major issue for them. In addition, it's important to consider the surroundings. Where is the conversation taking place? If you're in a coffee shop, the vibe will be quite different than if you're in a formal office setting. Existing distractions can play a role in what is said and how it is said. Any distractions can impact what you think may be the meaning of the conversation. So again, it's important to minimize them. But getting back to active listening, according to Jennifer Furlong, there are several steps that you can take to help you be a better listener. First, be aware of what your bad listening habits are and work on eliminating them. Two, don't keep your cell phone in front of you. Three, don't allow yourself to be distracted. Make sure that you eliminate and control distractions as much as possible. Number four, suspend judgment. If you allow yourself to be influenced by what they're wearing or even how they sound, you're automatically giving less credence to what they're saying. And finally, practice mindfulness. Forget about what happened yesterday or just before you sat down. Don't let tomorrow's deadline creep into your mind and divert your attention. This can be difficult, but be aware of when it happens and snap back to yourself in the present. As listeners, it's our responsibility to think critically about what others are saying. Critical thinking requires the gathering of facts and analyzing them to form an opinion. And you can't do this if you're not listening. Jiddu Krishnamurti, who is regarded as one of the greatest philosophical and spiritual figures of the 20th century, said, when you are listening to somebody completely and attentively, and you're listening not only to the words, but also to the feeling of what is being conveyed, to the whole of it, not part of it. Well, all right, that's it for this week. I hope you got something out of it. If you'd like to talk about anything you just heard, or you'd like to know how you can grow your business by joining a referral exchange networking chapter, or even starting your own chapter, reach out to me at referralexchangenetworking.com. That's exchange with an X. And if you would like to be notified whenever we post another educational video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of this video. All right, that's it for this week. I will see you next week. Take care.